coming. How are you? That's good. Hello, Derek. How are you? Bluegrass Paranormal. Hello. You're right there. I'm doing pretty good. So what's up, Bluegrass? Come on, don't forget to smash my thumb and share the channel out. I gotta get some coffee and I'll be right back. I'm doing okay. Um,
want to stop him from going out?
Red. Red. No. Oh. Hey, Corel. Hello. How are you? That's good, Mason. I'm having allergy problems. I gotta go share my channel out. I'll be right back. Well, I'll be right here. Yeah, drop your links if you want. Share my channel out. Facebook. Just wait a minute, I gotta do something here. And I'll be right with you guys. I'll go back. All right. Okay. Bluegrass. I'll get you. I can figure it out. Here's bluegrass. There you go, bluegrass. I got ya. What you do when you bring up your channel, I'm gonna go through this. When you bring up your channel name, you go to your channel. Well, you click on your name in chat. Okay? Go up to the three dots at the top right hand corner. Tap on share. It'll bring you up a little thing at the bottom and it says copy link. You want to copy your link. Let it finish copying. Then you bring up the stream and down in the where you write text in, push on that and paste it and it'll go in, and click it to go in chat. Oh, you don't know how to do it either, Dark Shadow? Oh, I don't want to do it on there. Sorry about that. Okay, I'll get you, Dark Shadow. I'll get you, Derek, I mean. I just learned how to do it, so. There you go. I got you too. Hey Derek, why don't you and Bluegrass try it with me? Click on your name. George, hello. You're welcome. Mason was in here. I don't know where he is. He's getting over a cold. Things are okay. Cold up here, though. It is. I don't know how cold it's outside. Can't tell. I think it's 52 outside. Let's get some people in here. I know other streams are streaming, but let's get some people in here. Yeah, I dropped Bluegrass's link earlier. And I dropped Derek's too. They're both paranormal channels, and they're both great people. So let's have fun tonight. Maybe I'll read cards later on if we get the people in here. Let's see which cards will we read. I know I've got cards out here. Yeah, it's getting cold up here. I gotta wear a coat outside. Bluegrass and Derek, I read stories, I read history, paranormal, ghost stories, you know, stuff like that. I'll show you some of the books here in a minute. I do dowsing rods, pendulums, I read cards, I do the spirit box. That's too hot. And sometimes I just chat. You know, a woman likes to talk. Okay, some of the books I got are like I live in Pennsylvania, so I got books like Pennsylvania Covered Bridges, Supernatural Lores of Pennsylvania, The Hidden History of Northwest Pennsylvania. I got like the Michigan's Most Haunted, Scary Stories. Hi Dave. Hi Wolfie. Another scary story. Trucker Ghost Stories. Haunted Lakes. Ghost Stories of Pennsylvania. More Scary Stories. This is my favorite. Phantom Army of the Civil War. I got Haunted Gettysburg Campfire Stories. Witches of Pennsylvania. Scottish Ghost Stories. And I can't remember where I got this one at, but I don't know if I ever showed you guys this one. Haunted History Trails of New York State. It's haunted. They have like haunted theaters, haunted places. They have the phone numbers and stuff for you to go make appointments to go to them and stuff like that. Dave was live. Let's see. Let me get to the... Okay, like Greater Niagara, they have the Rolling Hill Asylum, Seymour Place, Haunted Bergen's Home, Finger Lake, they have the Big Tree Inn, the Union Tavern, Chautauqua, Allegheny, that ain't far from me, the Dunkirk History, Lilydale Assembly, stuff like that. No. I do that kind of stuff. Yeah, me too, Derek. Oh, okay. I like that. He's working with the homeless and the addicts. Yeah, I'm gonna get out there before the snow hits. Today it was sunshine and raining at the same time, and we had a big, humongous rainbow, but I didn't get a picture of it. Didn't get in. It was gone by the time I got to the house. Excuse me, trailer. No, not yet. I'll show everybody my new spirit box. This is my new spirit box. It's a 12589 Radio Shack. If I can't get it to work, I know I got a good sounding radio. Damn it, turned it on. Yeah, if I can get it to work. What happened, you mean? Damn, I didn't want to block that person. Block that person. It's a troll. I'll find out. For sure. Thank you, Dave. Damn it. I get nothing to work tonight. You know, like here, they've been tearing a lot of vacant house buildings down in my town. Wait a minute. Kay Hopper, she's on other YouTube channels that I watch. She's in the paranormal too. They're saying she's passed, but I don't think so. I have her. I don't know. I'm trying to find out. I don't know that Blondie O'Kelly. I don't know him. Okay, but okay. Person told me yeah, they're making turtle counts up. They're saying no, she's not passed. So I won't know till we finally figure it out. But I don't think Miss K passed. I know she had to move. See, she goes in on channels like JMac channel and PDX Paranormal's channel. She's in on those, and I watch those guys quite frequently. And she was in JMac's channel yesterday. Just keep an eye out for him. Miss K is a real sweet lady. Thank you everybody for subbing to each other. She might be in Joker's stream. I better see she's in Joker's stream. Amy, wait a minute. I also have K's. I just gotta find her. Kay, where are ya? Kay. Okay, I just sent Kay a message. We'll find out for sure. Me and Don's been watching Hogan's Hero. Where's that book at? Oh. Just the one? Nope. Where the book went? So what's Woofy doing, Dave? Who is the child? The child's name is Betty. I picked that up at an antique store. And that picture was in it, and I loved it. And those frames, this frame and that frame, they're not cheap. But I picked this up at a flea market for $2. And it's got dogs in it. Then I got this picture over here of I think it's Netherlands. And it's over 100 years old. I picked that up for $2. So, I'm into stuff like that. Okay, see. Andrew Perry Jr. Where did you find me, Andrew? I think I've seen you somewhere else. Forgot my channel again. No subscribers, no videos. More about this channel. Joined September 28th, 2016. He must be just a supporter. We're gonna, later on, we are gonna do a spirit box session, dowsing rods and pendulum, whatever we can do on that to find out what. Find something out about the child. No, her eyes are open. They are not closed. It's not a death picture. Wolfie's a good girl. I think it's a girl. Aw, they did. That's good. Girl, that's what I thought. Wolfie was a girl. She's a good girl. Not sorry, Dave. Sorry, Wolfie. George. Andrew, I'm a paranormal channel. George, you're one heck of a character. That's why we like you here. You keep us on our toes. What channel? Paranormal. George. Character, okay? Too scary for you? What am I gonna say about that? I'm too scary. Okay, where'd you guys go? Sometimes, yeah. Okay, I turned it on. Now I gotta find the scan button. Auto scan. Okay, ready? But when I scan, it's quiet.
Digested enzymes, omega oils, and
See, it's quiet when it scans. I noticed when I turn the knob, it's quiet too. It's static, ain't staying on. Oh, okay. Ow. Don, is this tape on there for a reason? Is that tape on for a reason?
Yeah, the door don't play on it.
Oh, okay. And the alarm didn't go off. Didn't hear me. All right. Just me and you, George. No one else is talking. Come on in. I'll get you. They're trying to find out about Miss K. Her name is Betty. That's all I know about her. I don't know. Anybody come in? Andrew, can you... How's Red? Sleeping. He's good. He's doing good. No way, Jose. I know that name from somewhere, but I don't know. Whoa. People coming in, summing me up, but no one's talking to me. Hello. Yeah, I will when I find out how. Yeah. Be great. I gotta find my... This is what I want. I think. No. I don't want that one either. right, George. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, I will. Thanks for stopping in. Maybe I'll read a story. We got this one almost read. The Ghost of the Alamo. And Mama buried the haunted bones. This is for Texas. Natural nun warns of death. And then we go to Virginia. Witches. Okay. Where is the haunted ghost? Haunted Gettysburg Campfire Ghost Stories. There are a couple of these. I don't know where I ended at. I watched that one. Read that one. Cold water. Okay, we'll read Cold Water, then we'll go from there. Just west of parallel with Steinway Avenue runs one of the many small streams that are found in and around the town of Gettysburg. Most of it is covered by a parking lot, but on the northern end, a view of the stream is offered. Like many of the other streams, it runs slow and sluggish most of the time. But by design of nature or man, it is there to carry off water from the heavy rainfalls that can occur in this area. During the battle, these low stream beds were a perfect place for soldiers to seek refuge from shot and shell, and the wounded would naturally crawl to them to wash their wounds in cool water. One such stream, Plum Run, in the Devil's Den area, actually ran red with blood and is now forevermore known as Bloody Run. But our little stream had its own story to tell on the night of July 4th, 1863, when there was a tremendous rainstorm in this area. As the water rose, it washed the dead and the wounded down with the current until they piled up against the culvert that passes under Baltimore Street. The next morning, passersby were greeted by a gruesome sight, but then again, there were no shortage of gruesome sights that summer of 1863 in Gettysburg. Doctoring the past. Here's a story that has been around a while. It's one the locals like to tell. It seems years ago, a doctor was driving to Gettysburg from the west on an old Route 30. It was a night, and suddenly he saw a Confederate reenactor wave him down. Thinking someone may need help, he pulled over. The reenactor told him he had a friend that was hurt and asked if he could help. The doctor told the man he would help and that he was lucky that he happened to flag down a doctor. He was led by the man who carried a lantern to a large camp with other soldiers. There were tents and many campfires. The doctor thought it was odd that nobody looked up at him or seemed to notice him walking through the camp. He was led to a soldier lying on a blanket with a large cut on his arm. "What happened?" the doctor asked. "Saber cut," was his answer. Everything started to seem real strange, and now the doctor just wanted to leave as soon as possible. He treated the wound as best as he could by dim light. He put a bandage on the man's arm, rose to his feet, and told the soldier who flagged him down there was a hospital in Gettysburg, and that he should have his friend looked at. The soldier assured the doctor he would, and then led him back to his car. As the doctor drove away, he just couldn't get what had just happened out of his mind. Something was just not right. The doctor had a sleepless night. He had to satisfy his curiosity, so he drove back to the same field. There was nobody there, no remnants of any campfires. The grass had not even been trampled. The doctor would tell his friends that they may believe what they want, but he said it happened to him, and he knows what he saw. Whoa! That'd be something. Okay, The Unpleasant Ride. Here's a story relayed to us last summer, and it's certainly different. Betty and Jen were visiting Gettysburg on a day trip from Maryland. It was a beautiful summer day, and they drove slowly around the battlefield, enjoying the sight. As they approached Devil's Den, Jen smelled something. "It must be a dead animal or a skunk," she said, as they reached the top of the den, but the smell started to get stronger. Betty turned on the AC to try to air out the car, but the smell only got stronger. The odor actually seemed to be coming from the rear of the car. Betty rolled down the rear window, but again the smell grew stronger. Now they could hardly breathe, and their eyes were starting to water. They drove faster to air out the car, but it didn't help. The odor was like nothing they have ever experienced. They drove by the peach orchard and pulled out onto Emmitsburg Road, and at that instant the smell vanished. It was then Betty remembered two things. One was when they started the ride on the battlefield, Jen remarked, "What a beautiful place. I wonder what it was like right after the battle," she thought. And she also remembered something she had read, how the bodies of the soldiers laid in shallow graves. Night, George. Some only partly covered, and how the 5,000 dead horses were burned, and how they smoldered for weeks, and how the smell hung in the air and permeated the land for miles around. Jan thought to herself, "I think I have just been granted a wish I could live without." The next story is The Mystery Ship. I'm going to take a little break first. Check out. Oh, see, somebody comes in. Here comes another story. The Mystery Ship. Here's a story that still has local residents of Gettysburg scratching their heads. It's a bizarre and really has no proper end. There are many theories. Some even say it was a haunted and will pass it along for what it's worth. The story takes place in early spring on a very foggy night, sometimes after midnight. The calm of this quiet little town was shattered by the drone of a small plane slowly circling downtown Gettysburg. As the plane flew, it went lower and lower, and hardly a resident remained asleep. Occasionally, the blinking light on the plane could be seen, and a few actually saw the small craft as it momentarily flew through the break in the fog. By this time, the entire town was awake and braced for a crash. Some headed for their basements, while authorities, unable to reach the plane by radio, evacuated the Gettysburg Hotel. All anyone could do was watch helplessly as the plane circled around and around. After about 2.5 hours of this, the plane left. The next day, the area was searched for the lost plane, but nothing was found. No information ever came in, and it was a mystery that was never solved. Next one's called Evening Visions. It was a beautiful fall evening. Leaves were crunching underfoot, and the trees were casting long shadows as evening approached. Joyce and her young daughter, Dawn, were enjoying a pleasant walk on the battlefield and were now in the area between Devil's Den and the triangular field. They paused along a stone wall and were enjoying the view when Dawn suddenly says, "Mommy, people are sleeping." "Yes," her mother said, "some people do go to bed early." "No, Mommy, people are sleeping." "What do you mean?" Joyce replied. "Mommy, I see people sleeping here on the ground," the young girl said. She said it like it was something very natural, like, "Mommy, don't you understand? You see them too, don't you?" It was all Joyce could do to contain the fear she felt. Yes, Joyce, said, it's the calmest voice she could muster. "But now it's time to go. You know, children and animals sometimes see and hear things we as adults don't understand. And there is that old saying that out of the mouths of babes come pearls." Next one's called Zook's Rock. Okay, Zook's Rock. One of the fun things about writing ghost stories is meeting people, hearing their experience while visiting the Gettysburg battlefield. One of the oddest things we hear is a story that is the same, told by totally unrelated people from different parts of the country at different times of the year. It usually people have heard drums and gunfire, or who have seen campfires at exactly the same spot. The real DJ Fruit Loops. Well, hello. How are you? I think you're the only one here. Okay. All right. Oh, Dave's here, yep. Damn it. Can't do anything. I can do it on this one. There you go. Thank you for being here, Dave. And Wolfie. Okay, let me start that sentence over. It's usually people who have heard drums or gunfires or who have seen campfires at exactly the same spot. Like Little Round Top or Devil's Den. When I go to Gettysburg, that's one place I want to go see, is Little Round Top. Then there are the non-believers. Bill and Sue were just such a couple. They were from Midwest, and we enjoy talking to them very much. We told them some ghost stories, and they enjoyed hearing them. But they said, sorry, ghosts just don't happen. Now I lost my place. Evening was approaching, and they said they had just arrived in town, and they would like to see some of the battlefield before dark. We directed them to Devil's Den, Little Round Top, and told them about the high water mark and how to get there. They then thanked us for the stories and directions and left. About an hour later, they were back and they were ashen. We took one look and knew they saw something. Bill looked like he was in shock and he could hardly get his words out. He said he followed my direction and was driving down the road and came to a field, pulled over and got out. He said he walked over to the rock with a monument on it, climbed onto it to get a better look, and he was looking around when all of a sudden, two rough hands grabbed him and threw him off the rock and onto the ground. He remembered a loud voice bellowed, "Get off my rock." He wasn't on the ground for 1 second because the next instant he was in the car and driving away. I know what we said earlier about ghosts, but now we take it back, Bill said. On a map, he showed us where they had stopped and described the monument. The next day, using Bill's direction, we drove out to the rock. The monument marks the spot where Brigadier General Samuel K. Zook was mortally wounded. Looking further into General Zook's last monument on Earth, we discovered he was leading his troops into Wheatfield when he ran into General James Barnes' retreating troops, who were blocking his way. Zook bellowed, "If you can't get out of the way, lie down, and we will march over you." Barnes' men did indeed lie down. General Zook's men plunged ahead over their prone bodies. Perhaps Bill was simply in General Zook's way. Next one's called Don't Go There. Thank you for the thumbs up. If you can, please share me out. Do I have? Let me see if I got you. I do now. Next one's called Don't Don't Go There. Fred lived on a farm just outside Gettysburg. The house was Civil War era and had a metal plaque on the front that read Civil War Building 1863. Fred was an avid relic hunter and was with his good friend Bill, who spent hours with metal detectors looking for bullets, cannonballs, or anything metal associated with the Civil War. One spring day, Fred and Bill were detecting on the outer fence line of the Fred's farm when all of a sudden Fred got a strong reading. He carefully scraped the soil away. Yeah. He carefully scraped the soil away and about an inch down came across a Confederate CS belt buckle face up. It was a good find and it appeared to be in great shape. Fred carefully pried it out of the ground and out it came with some remnants of the leather belt still attached underneath the buckle. Below that was a button, and Fred carefully pulled it out. This was getting good, they thought. Some pieces of rotten fabric were hanging from the button, and underneath was more. At that moment, Bill and Fred just looked at each other. The hair on their necks stood up, and Fred, with a trembling voice, said, "We're not going there." He put back the button and the buckle and replaced the dirt. You see, in this instant, they both knew what was going on. Fred's house was a Civil War house, and therefore, it was a hospital for the wounded and dying soldiers. And when a soldier didn't make it, they buried him a little distance from the house, like along the fence line. This was a grave that I almost stumbled into. They felt it best to let the honored dead lie in peace and do not disturb any spirits. You want a cup? You want a cup? All right, Dave. Thanks for stopping in.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, next story is called What's That? And speaking about metal detecting, here's one we heard years ago. Bill was an avid relic hunter. He would use his metal detector on friends' properties in and around Gettysburg. But the real prize to Bill would be the battlefield itself. But it was illegal to metal detect then, and it is still is now. But one night Bill got an idea. There was some land next to the park. He would start there, and if the coast was clear, work his way to the battlefield itself. It was a moonless, foggy night. He couldn't see his hands in front of his face, but Bill would do it all by feel. It would be no problem. The pickings were off that night, a few bullets, an old rusty knife. It was then he came to the boundary of the park. Bill thought, there is no one around, so in I go. But as soon as he entered, he started hearing something behind him. He looked around, but it was so dark he couldn't see nothing. The pickings were good, so he ignored it and moved on. But every time he took a step, something behind him did too. But Bill was determined to have a good night, and he was forced the whole issue out of his mind. But every time he took a step, there was the step behind him. Eventually, Bill left the battlefield unharmed. You see, the story really doesn't have a great ending. It's sometimes that neither we nor Bill can explain. Now there are deer in the park, and it may have been one of them. And a black bear has been seen in the country from time to time. So if you go to the battlefield at night and feel something breathing down your neck, it may not be a ghost at all, but simply the inquisitive bear. These are just short stories. Okay, next one's called Frozen in Time. Roy has a strange story to relate. It's one that has baffled him for years. He tells his friends that he loves Gettysburg. It's a place where he can really relax. A great place for an early morning walk or watching the sunset from Little Round Top. Actually, it's all great except for that one spot halfway across the Pickett's charge field. I just can't go near it. I am overcome and actually get weak, and I feel overwhelming grief overcomes me, Roy says. Actually, Roy, you are not alone. We have heard the story over and over, and it's not strange to us. It has been explained this way. One of the millions of people who visit Gettysburg, there are those who seem to be drawn to this place by a strange force. It is sometimes they just have to visit over and over. A favorite vacation spot, and of these people, there are those drawn to a special spot in the battlefield. But when they get to it, it's not a comfortable place for them. They feel weak and dizzy, and they are not able to actually stand there. It's a story we have heard over and over. The odd thing is that the places pointed out are generally out of the way spots, a place not near a monument that a tourist would normally be drawn to. So what is the answer? Well, recently a psychic explained it this way. You see, she said, most people will come to Gettysburg for the beauty of the place and for the history. The one who were drawn to this place actually fought here in a previous life. And the people affected by a certain spot, we asked. Oh, she said, they died at this spot during the battle, and it's where the spirits from their previous lives still remain to this day. Okay, this one's called Going My Way. Here's a story that has been around for a while. And those... Ouch! Stinker! And those it happened to will swear it is true. It goes like this, and is always the same. Someone is driving along one of the roads leading into Gettysburg when they see a reenactor thumbing a ride to town. He is picked up and turned out to be a friendly fellow. The driver feels lucky because here is a person who obviously knows a lot about the Civil War, and is immediately the question starts. What's it like to be a soldier? What about weapons, the food, the conditions? And then the question about the Battle of Gettysburg. The writer proves quite knowledgeable, except after July 3rd, 1863. It's after that he seems to be lost. But the time spent is interesting, and to the soldier says, stop here. This is where I get out. The driver pulled over, and the passenger hops out and says, thanks for the ride. As the car pulls away, the driver noticed two things. The soldier is nowhere to be seen, and he is pulling away from the cemetery. Now you may believe what you will, but the next time you talk to a reenactor, slip in some trick questions just to be sure, like, What is your favorite TV show? Or have you seen any good movies lately? Or bring up computers, you know? You can't be too sure. Okay. Well, nobody's been here for a while. No one wants to talk. Everybody wants to listen. Yes, I'm reading stories. Short stories, but they're stories about Gettysburg. They're campfire stories. Thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate it. Okay, the next story is called I'm Now a Believer. Mike is a reenactor and lives in New York State. He portrays a Northern soldier from a group that fought right here in Gettysburg. Mike loves Gettysburg and comes down every chance he gets. It was late in the fall a few years ago when Mike got the urge, and down he came non-stop. Now I lost my place. It was now near 10 p.m. and Mike found himself walking around in the Devil's Den area. It was chilly, but Mike had something with him to cut the chill. His trusty flask was filled with the kind of spirits that keeps a man warm at night. And the spirits in his flask were the only kind he was interested in because he definitely did not believe in ghosts. That was one of the reasons Mike wasn't afraid to walk around Devil's Den at night. But now it was past 10 p.m. and the park was closed and Mike needed to leave. He got to his car and was slowly driving out past the wheat field when he saw a man in a long coat walking toward him. Mike stopped just as the man walked up to the driver's window. Mike started to speak when all of a sudden he saw a bright, flashing light in his rearview mirror. It was the park ranger. What did I do? Mike thought. Ranger got out and walked to Mike's car. What did I do? Mike asked. Don't you know you're supposed to be out of the park at 10 p.m.? said the officer. Yes, Mike said. I was leaving, but I saw a man. The officer shined his flashlight around. What man? He said. There is nobody here. He then shined the light into Mike's car. He saw the flask and asked, Is that liquor you have there? It's illegal to drink in the park. I am going to have to give you a ticket. Now, if you see Mike today, he will tell you, yes, I now do believe in ghosts, and the worst part is I had to pay a fine to find out. That was cute. Okay, next one's called One Little Stone. Dear Mr. Wazzle, I had an opportunity to bring my family to Gettysburg last summer. It was their first visit. They loved it. The scope, magnitude, and solemnity of the battlefield had a long impression on them, and the town is so picturesque and friendly. Who couldn't help but fall in love with it? Let me state here that I am vehemently opposed to souvenir hunting, taking a piece of history home with them. With that said, I shamefully admitted to doing just that. I was so moved by Devil's Den that a temptation got the better of my judgment and I took a small stone. Since returning from our trip, we had nothing but bad luck. My car was sideswiped. Later, it lost its power steering. Fuel sending unit, brake lines, blew a head gasket and cracked the head. My second car developed problems with the fuel sending unit, gas tank, brakes, and various electrical woes. I was ticketed and fined for failure to yield to a pedestrian in a crosswalk while driving to avoid an accident. Our TV went out, the dryer is making suspicious noise, the establishment where I work came close to closing. It was taken over by another company, my salary was cut, my hours extended, and I lost my health benefits I have filed for and aimed in the midst of bankruptcy. Please, sir, I'm asking that you return this stone to its rightful resting place at the base of the first set of large rocks from the parking area of the Devil's Den. I feel you will probably understand and appreciate this request. Due to the nature of your books, I am enclosing an address, stamped envelope. It will relieve my anguish and conscience to know that the rock has been returned. You need only reply that it has been done. Thank you in advance. I hope this works. Sincerely, Barry Stripe. Editor's note, the stone in question has been returned to its rightful place in history. Get down! I already took mine.
You took your time, boy?
Next story is called Here's Looking at You, Kid. It was early July when a few of my friends and I decided to take a day trip to Gettysburg. After visiting the battlefield, we decided to wait until it was dark to check out a story we have heard from a tourist we had talked to in town. We knew you were forbidden to enter the battlefield after 10 p.m., but we thought we had a better chance of checking out the story late at night. It was sometimes after 11 p.m. when my friends and I visited Little Round Top to see the J.K. Warren statue. The story was told to us by a tall, thin man with shaggy hair and a short gray beard. He told us if you walk on the walkway around the statue, you will actually see J.K. Warren's head move. You better leave my plan alone. I gotta put that up someplace. So we took a flashlight and walked up to it. As we were walking, we heard a noise that sounded like a creaking metal. At that point, the hair on the back of our neck stood up. As we made our way up to the hill, the noise became louder until it felt like it was inside us. All of a sudden, just as we got to the statue, the noise stopped. I think I felt my heart stop also. Needless to say, at the instant, we all became true believers as we quickly left the battlefield, never to return at night. And the next one's called Photo Oops. Hi, Lady C. You're the only one here. Everybody else went to bed. They think they're old. Okay. Hold on. Cancel. Oh, I gotta see. Okay. I bet. I bet. Yeah, we got a few new people in stream now. I got trolled tonight. They said that Miss K was dead. I don't think so. I tried calling her, but the phone wouldn't ring. I'll be thinking about you tomorrow. Get a chance, call me. And let the phone ring. Get down, Krug. Get down. Get down. I'm glad for you, though. You got your ride and everything to go? Right. Hold on a minute, I'll be right back.
They're attacking it?
Yes. That's why it's over there.
Well, there's another one over there someplace too.
Oh, I haven't seen that one. Brown one? I don't see it. Oh, working on it. Somebody has to give you a ride. So when you headed back to Texas? Or you got everything set up for Florida? Hello, thank you for stopping in. Come on in and chat with us. Don't be a fraidy cat. Why do I hear music? Oh. It's you. I heard music and it's dawn. Hello. Okay, next story is is called Photo Oops. My family and I recently made a very enjoyable visit to Gettysburg. While there, we purchased your Haunted Gettysburg and more Haunted Gettysburg books. I would like those. My two sons and I enjoy reading ghost stories at night and have really gotten into your books. Also, we had something happen at Gettysburg which we thought was interesting enough that I am dropping you this letter. The Gettysburg visit was after a visit of several days in Washington, D.C. We enjoyed Washington and took 10 or so rolls of pictures while there. My family and I are big picture takers, so needless to say, we were also looking forward to taking lots of pictures at Gettysburg. We took one of our licensed battlefield guides as our introduction to the battlefield. As we were entering the Devil's Den area, I noticed my camera was not working right. The film was advancing. I worked with the camera a bit and later gave up and changed to a new roll of film. We got back to the visiting center and said goodbye to our guide, wanting to get some of the photos that we had missed. We set off back to the battlefield on our own. We finished out the second roll of film and had our third roll all loaded. As we went along, I realized the camera was again malfunctioning. We wrapped up our visit to Gettysburg and headed back home the next day. After a long drive on Saturday, it was good to relax the next day and have time to read your book. The story Picture of Death sent a chill through me and made two little boys wide-eyed. The story mentioned camera malfunction. I am not certain, but I believe the second roll problem also showed up near the Devil's Den area. We had no camera problems in Washington, nor we have any problems since. We have taken several pictures with the same camera at my son's track meeting. Whatever happened, it makes a memorable story from a great spring break vacation. Devil's Den. I'm just gonna see how many stories are in this. There are 20 stories. Now 17. Alright, I guess I'm gonna get off here. Oh, I got a few minutes to go yet. I'll read another story. Maybe I'll finish the book off. My Gettysburg experience. It was spring light day on December 30th, 1996. Dang. Somebody didn't like me. And on an almost vacant Gettysburg battlefield, my brother and I had brought our son for a visit, as we had done before during Christmas vacation, only this time under near perfect weather conditions. We decided to begin a morning battlefield tour with a trip to Devil's Den. We turned off the Emmitsburg Road at the Peach Orchard, and upon approaching the wheat field, I had my brother drop me off, telling him that I would walk across the wheat field and come up to Devil's Den from the back. I was enjoying the walk and the weather as I leisurely strolled and contemplated what had happened here. As I was walking along the roadway toward Devil's Den, I approached the area of triangular field on my right. I very clearly heard voices of men, and one that was louder shouting commands. I stopped dead in my tracks and listened, not quite believing what I had actually heard. I looked into the foliage-less woods for what seemed like several minutes, but the only sound were a distant train whistle. Suddenly I heard the same thing again, the sound of men being commanded and drilled. There was then no doubt in my mind that what I had heard. It came from the wooded area to the right of the triangular field. I hurried on to Devil's Den, reported my experience to a very skeptical brother who reluctantly agreed to drive around looking for the source of my experience. We found no soldiers, no ghosts, and no more voices. But then I really didn't expect to find any. I do know what I heard, as it was very commonly witnessed in Civil War reenactments. It was not my imagination. My honesty is the only guarantee I can give that this is a true experience. The Gettysburg battlefield was void of many tourists on the December morning, but it certainly was not void of those who have made it sacred ground. Line of fire. We arrived at Gettysburg September 16th. We checked into a motel, then went out to do all the tourist things. The David Wills house, Jenny Wade's house, and the electric map of the Soldier Cemetery. And after a very full day, we enjoyed a great dinner at the Dobbin house. The next day we went back out to the battlefield. My companion had several times removed cousin who fought at the battlefield of Gettysburg, so we headed out to the Pennsylvania Monument looking for his name, and we found it. Next, we headed for Little Round Top and searched for the monument of the Michigan sharpshooters. My great-great-uncle had been with that unit. However, he had been killed the year before at the Second Battle of Bull Run. We then drove down by the Crawford Monument as we were crossing over Plum Run. I asked my companion to stop the car, since it had rained so hard the day before, it would be just as it was during the battle. Running instead of being a dark creek bed, I took one picture. I decided I wanted a picture of the other side too, with little round top in the background. It just seems it would show more of what both sides encountered. Suddenly, without warning, I felt as if I had a hand just literally gave me a big, hard shove. My feet left the ground, and I felt as if I was flying. The force that hit me was so incredible. It was as if someone had taken my hand, shoved as hard as they could in the small of my back, and is doing so. It lifted me up off the ground. At first, I thought I was going to go over the railing, and with my arm flaying, tried to get to my feet to connect with the pavement, trying to grab the railing. I finally felt it with my fingertips and fell with such force that it knocked the wind out of me. Then I realized I could not move. My first thought was if someone turned onto Crawford Avenue and didn't see me, they would run over me. I yelled for my companion, who was still sitting in the car on the side of the road. He came over, and since he did not see what happened, just looked at me confused, trying to figure out why I was crying and asking for help. I told what had happened. He got defensive, saying he had not pushed me. He had been in the car the entire time I was on the bridge. I asked him to take me to the emergency room. I felt that something was broken. The entire time I was in the emergency room, the doctor and nurses kept asking me what happened. I repeated several times since they evidently thought I was either protecting my companion or had hit my head. I was quite lucid, and at times a little angry that no one would believe me. Later that evening, after my companion had made sure I was comfortable back at our hotel room, he took a drive back to the bridge and informed me that he couldn't find a reason for my fall. The next day we ventured out again. I was not going to let the fall ruin my vacation. My arm was in a sling and I had plenty of painkillers. On the corner across from our motel was a reenactment of the Confederate camp. We walked over and talked to the men. One of them asked me what had happened. I told him I fell on the battlefield. I didn't want any more strange looks. He jokingly told me I was the second civilian casualty. One of them told me to walk over to the other side of the camp and speak to the lady who was standing there. The lady in question informed me that while I was walking over to her, she saw a white light surrounding me, and the spirit was attracted to the people with the light. She asked me about my arm. I told her the story. She said I had been thrown out of the line of fire, that I was in dangerous areas, so was being protected. I told her I had not felt the feeling of someone there, either before or after the incident. She says there wasn't time. To whom it may concern. If you have read my account, then you know part of my story. After arriving back to Colorado on the 21st, I was still a bit incapacitated with my right arm in a sling. I am not dexterous to decide I would read the haunted Gettysburg. Eyewitness accounts of the supernatural by Jack Bouchard and Bob Wassel. Chapter 10 page 25 left me gasping. Oh my God, over and over again. Then I reached out for a phone, called my doubting companion who had been with me at Gettysburg and says, listen to this. And proceeded to the chapter to him. When I was finished reading it, I asked him if that sounded familiar. His words to me were, yes, that is what you kept saying in the emergency room to us. I felt vindicated and also felt a bit of shiver up and down my spine. Also, ironically, the monument of my distant ancestor unit is nearby. Could it have been him? Even though he would not have been at Gettysburg, makes me wonder. Thanks for your book. I have thoroughly enjoyed them. Trish Price. Next one's called Gunsmoke. Okay. I read your book, Haunted Gettysburg, Eyewitness Accounts of the Supernatural, and I would like to relate to your situation that happened to my wife, Judy, and me on a recent visit to the Gettysburg battlefield. Last December, we and two friends went to Gettysburg to see the town decorated for Christmas. On Sunday, I took my wife that I wanted to travel to the battlefield before we started to drive back home. We first drove up around Oak Ridge. The railroad cut, then proceeded to drive down Meredith Avenue. At this point, I need to say that my dear wife knew of much about the Civil War in Gettysburg. Part in it has as I know, the interior decorating. All of a sudden, my wife asked me, when was the war? 50 years ago, I said. No, more like 140 years ago. Why, she said. Well, why am I smelling gunpowder? I said. You're smelling gunpowder, are you sure? That's what you're smelling? Her answer was yes. I'm sure I know what gunpowder smells like, and I have smelled it all along this road. And she does because we have a friend who shoots smoothbore rifles in competition. As soon as we made the left turn onto Reynolds Avenue, the smell just disappeared. I did not smell anything. One reason was probably due to a cold I had at the time. I asked her over and over about the experience, and she is adamant as to the gunpowder. After we arrived home, I called the Park Service in Gettysburg to let them know our experience. I have no explanation for this happening. I have told Judy that she might have had the honor of taking a small step back in time, and I am also a little jealous that it was not me. Needless to say, she now has more interest in the battle, and especially in the area of Reynolds Woods. We, at her request, are planning another trip to the park for an overnighter this July 1st. The Bridge of Solomon Road. This is the last story of this book. If you drive our Canning Town Road, just past Route 15, you will come to Solomon Road. Turn left and drive down the road a short distance and you will come to a small bridge that crosses Rock Creek. And there is our story. Some of the folks that live along the road will tell you something that happened there years ago. A couple that lived in the area had been to the town for the evening and had a little too much to drink. It was a summer evening and it had rained very hard that day. The rain had stopped, but the road were still wet and the couple were driving much too fast as they approached the bridge. The older bridge, not the one you see today, built in 1972. The creek was up and raging, and the road over the bridge was slick. The car went into a skid and smashed through the guardrail and plunged into the opposite bank, half in and half out of the water. Police said the emergency vehicle soon arrived and a tow truck pulled the car back onto the road. The man was still inside, but beyond help. The woman was nowhere to be seen. It was then that a hardened policeman saw something gruesome. The woman's arm was wrenched out of the socket and her hand was holding onto a guardrail on the bridge. They assumed that it was the last instant that the woman had reached out and grabbed the railing in a knee-jerk reaction. She tried to save herself, and her arm was ripped off. They said it required a crowbar to pry off her fingers that were locked into a death grip on the pipe. They never found the body. They assumed she was washed down the swollen creek and covered by mud. But there are those who drive this road at night who swear to see the one-armed woman roaming the bridge looking for something. Her lost lover, her arm, you. Okay, that's the story. Okay, I'm going to get off here. Everyone have a good evening. Behave and stay safe. Thank you for stopping in.